WWE Raw review for the July 14th episode of Raw. My name is Brandon, one half of the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh? Well, this Raw was a little bit up and down for me. Obviously, on the heels of the best WWE PLE of the year. To some people, the best PLE of the year, no matter the promotion. How would WWE follow that up? I want to send a special shout out to each and every one of you that stopped by in our live stream for Raw. Helped show support on all the reviews after a busy weekend. Go ahead, listen to this. Give this one a like. And then we can all kind of take a little bit of a break until SmackDown. But let's get right into it. You would start out with Naomi. That is right, your new champion after the cash-in at Evolution. Naomi would come out and she says, y'all weren't feeling the glow, but now you are. Talking to the fans. Y'all thought I was going to cash in on Tiffany, but I told you nobody knows my next move. I'm done with the foolishness on SmackDown. Bianca, I didn't betray you. I outgrew you. You and Jade wanted me as a third wheel. Basically said, you only want me when it's convenient for you guys. Well, who got the upper hand now, bitches? Is what she says to the crowd. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, yeah, here we go. Sign me up. Jade may have got her lick back at Evolution, but at Evolution, I made history. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, you know what? You did. Yeah, this is awesome. Sign me up. Win. See, I got to work on the snaps. Enter Rhea Ripley. This is my brutality. Rhea comes out and says, one thing you should know about me is I'm not cautious. As Naomi obviously said, proceed with caution. Rhea goes on to say, I'm pissed. Congrats, Naomi. You just made it onto my list. Well, I didn't know she was Chris Jericho, but here we go. Enter Io Sky. And she comes out and says, Rhea, with respect, get in line. I want to get my title back from Naomi. Basically, she says, get to the back of the line. I was the champ. I should get the rematch. Well, at this point, Adam Pearce comes out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, baby, okay. Well, you know Adam Pearce is coming out. You know something's going to become official. And he goes ahead and says it 3 weeks at SummerSlam. Basically, we have the 2-night SummerSlam. We need a top Evolution. Last night was amazing. You got your moment, Naomi, Rhea, Io. You put on one of the best women's matches of all time. It was amazing. It was great. It was magic. But let's go ahead and top that. Make magic at SummerSlam because there's going to be a triple threat match. And I'm like, yep. Yeah, we kind of all saw this coming, right? But it is official now. You do get Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the title at SummerSlam in a triple threat match. And honestly, you can sign me up for it. Any iteration of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky is going to be fantastic. I want Naomi to basically come out and show that she belongs with these two. I think she can do that. I know there's a lot of people that love the character work from Naomi, but they're a little cautious on the ring work. I think some people are a little bit nervous about what's to come, right? How can she kind of stack up with these two? Well, here's her chance to show that. I think some people might be a little bit upset about the triple threat. We just got one at WrestleMania, right? And you're basically running Rhea, Io, Naomi back when you had Rhea, Io, Bianca at WrestleMania. That match was fantastic. That match was great. I don't see any reason why they won't be able to do that again. People are going to say Naomi's not to Bianca's level, but here we go, Naomi. Here's your chance to shine. Naomi's character work tonight was fantastic. Rhea and Io, you can sign me up for any of that. We'll go ahead and obviously do predictions later on down the road, but you knew this triple threat was kind of coming. You figured, hey, the cash in, she really stole it out of everybody, right? Just how you're supposed to do with the briefcase. So we were going to go ahead and get that. And honestly, I'm excited for it. Sign me up for that. We'd have a little bit of small backstage segment. Basically, Finn's holding all the titles. He polished all the titles, his tag titles, the women's tag titles, Dom's IC title. Basically just says, hey, Dom, basically do this for Liv. Go out and support Roxanne and Raquel in their match against the Kabuki Warriors for Liv. Go and do that. And Dom says, okay. And Finn kind of looks at the picture that they have of Liv and laughs and says, ha, for Liv. So we're getting that, I guess, right? In terms of the Finn trying to overthrow and be the leader. But we'd go right into the Kabuki Warriors versus Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel continued to look strong here throughout the match. They had dueling submissions, so Kairi and Raquel both had arm submissions on Roxanne and Raquel. Raquel would basically overpower Asuka and go ahead and powerbomb Asuka onto Kairi, which I thought was impressive. Something to note here, Raquel is looking stronger and better than what she did with Liv. Completely on purpose, obviously. I think that's the whole thing. That's the narrative, right? But Raquel's looking fantastic. Raquel's looking great here. Kyrie would hit an insane elbow. And then here's where Dom would come into play, right? He's doing these things for Liv. So Dom distracts and Raquel breaks up the pin. Later on, you would fast forward to another Dom distract. And at this point, you get a roll up by Roxanne, and Raquel uses her foot, kind of like Tala Tonga did with Solo Sikoa at Saturday Night Main Event. And you get the 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day retains here. In a match that was fine. It was pretty good. I mean, it was a pretty good Raw match, I would say, right? It's not a PLE level match, but it did what you wanted. You continued the Judgment Day storyline. Dom is doing things for Liv now. Later on, we would have a backstage segment. I'll just group this all together. Dom is basically saying, hey, I have a doctor's note. You can't make me do anything. Adam Pearce says Dom will get reevaluated next week. And if Dom is reevaluated by medical staff and he passes the medical exam, the physical, right, he will be facing AJ Styles to defend his title at SummerSlam. AJ's off to the side, kind of praying on one knee, looking up and doing the eye thing. So some more great comedy from AJ Styles. So that was awesome. But at this point, we would go backstage. And Jackie Redmond is with Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker. And Jackie Redmond's asking the question that we all need to know. Paul Heyman, what's the update on Seth Rollins? Paul Heyman says, I do not have any info. Seth has this briefcase until next June to cash in. His health isn't relevant, but what is relevant is Bron Breakker emerges as the number 1 contender tonight by running the gauntlet and becoming the next heavyweight champ. I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, okay, yeah, give me this. Give me Paul Heyman being Bron Breakker's mouthpiece. Sign me up. Next, we would go on to a banger of a match. As I said on the Evolution review, any sort of iteration of when SummerSlam and all these other things, any iteration of Bayley, Becky, Lyra, any combination, give me that, give me that, give me that. Well, it was a good night because we would find out that Bayley would be taking on Lyra Valkyria in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And the winner would go on to face Becky Lynch at SummerSlam for that women's IC title. Real quick, Lyra continued to show that she is confident. She is growing. She almost really kind of made fun of Bayley, overlooked Bayley here. She ends up patting Bayley on the head. Bayley gets a quick roll up, 1, 2, 3. You're thinking, oh God, okay, there's the quick one right out of the gate. You got a hard drop kick by Lyra into Bayley. Bayley's head went into the turnbuckle. You ended up getting a hard Irish whip into the corner by Bayley to Lyra. Lyra hit really hard and, continues to say, hey, my back hurts throughout the match, selling that back injury. But Bayley kind of had this look on her face for a split second and then just went on the attack, right? Didn't really care. She went ahead and dropped Lyra on her back onto the apron. Bayley was talking trash to Lyra. Well, I said that Bayley got a quick roll up. Well, Lyra says, hey, you're not going to outdo me. I'm going to get a quick roll up as well. 1, 2, 3. We're tied 1-1. So we're going to the third and final fall, like all 2 out of 3 falls matches go, right? Lyra continues to work over Bayley's knee throughout the match, the surgically repaired knee of Bayley. She ends up hitting a dragon screw on her. Lyra goes off the top rope at one point. Bayley counters it. You get a Bayley to belly. You get a sit-down gut-wrench powerbomb by Lyra to Bayley. 1, 2, kick out. You end up getting a fisherman suplex to Bayley on the apron by Lyra. You get a flip-over powerbomb, that little buckle powerbomb that like Bayley does where she flips over people and throws them into the turnbuckle. Well, yeah, she just kind of won up that, threw Lyra into the stairs. I thought, oh boy, okay. You get them back in the ring, and Bayley has a crossface applied onto Lyra Valkyria, and she's reaching for the ropes. Bayley does the thing where she uses her foot. They flip back into the ring, into the center. Lyra rolls through, picks Bayley up. Nightwing, 1, 2, 3. Boom. Lyra wins. So Lyra Valkyria will be facing Becky Lynch for the women's IC title at SummerSlam. And like I said before, go ahead and give me this. Give me this twice on Sundays. Give me this every day of the week. This is going to be fantastic. I feel like we already obviously know that Lyra is going to win this. I would be shocked if Becky Lynch pulls off the win at SummerSlam. I'm kind of thinking we should get some sort of stipulation now. They haven't made anything official. And honestly, a one-on-one straight-up match is fine with me. We did see that at Backlash, right, with the stipulations. I'm really just hoping, hey, maybe you can add something to this, right? Maybe add a submission match or I don't know, anything, right? Something to kind of just up the ante a little bit. But either way, even if we don't get that, I'm not going to complain. Lyra Valkyria continues to elevate her game to the next level. She shows she's a main force to be reckoned with of that next generation of women's wrestlers. And Becky Lynch with this heel run. I mean, what more do you need to say? Becky Lynch with this heel run has been phenomenal. It's been fantastic. It's been everything I've wanted and more. It's far exceeded my expectations. So go ahead and keep giving me this Becky Lynch. We are only a few weeks out from SummerSlam, so I'm interested to see kind of how they handle that. Becky Lynch would come out. She would pose with the title. Her and Lyra would talk trash. And right then and there, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and give it to me now. I just want this feud right now. Continue to keep this thing going. I'm going to sign up for it every day of the week. And at this point, we would go, some people, what they would call a dream match. Chelsea Green would call this a dream match. And I think some other people, maybe, at points. Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green. Nikki Bella would come out. We'd go to commercial break. We'd come back. And you see Karrion Kross's name on the screen. Karrion Kross cuts a fire promo, a great promo. Basically asks Scarlett, hey, do you think Sami Zayn's telling the truth about being injured? Scarlett says, no, he's a liar. Karrion Kross says, yeah, I think so too. Sami, I'm basically going to beat the hell out of you until you say that I am telling the truth. Obviously, I paraphrased that, spark note the hell out of that. It was great. It was like maybe a minute and a half or so. Go watch it if you haven't. If you're a fan of Kross, you're going to love this stuff. But before the match, Chelsea Green would talk trash to La Primera, right? Stephanie Vacque, and basically Stephanie said, hey, you want some of this? Basically, come get some. And Chelsea's like, no, actually, I'm going to be giving my best to a Hall of Famer, to a legend. So no, I'm not going to do that. That would come into play here. So the Secret Service protects Chelsea Green throughout the match, especially the beginning. Chelsea Green kind of takes over. You go ahead, you get a Bella Buster later on by Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella takes out Piper and Alba Fire. And you go ahead, you get a Rack Attack 2.0 by Nikki Bella. Struggled a little bit there, but it's her first singles match back in a while. I'm not going to overly critique her, right? She looks good. Nikki Bella looks good for the little bit that we did get to see. Obviously, super spark-noted version. Honestly, I was excited for this. You got what you got. You got Chelsea Green playing the character stuff. You got Chelsea Green doing the great stuff. Chelsea Green being the underrated in-ring worker. And then that's when Secret Service would attack after Nikki got the win. When Stephanie Vacque comes out, boom, she destroys Secret Service, and her and Nikki hug at the end. That was it. So, I don't know if that's going to lead to anything. I kind of hope that it's not. But I could see that kind of being somehow, some way worked into something at SummerSlam. So there's that. You might have, you know what? I'm going to say it. I said it on the live stream. I'll say it now. Secret Service and Chelsea Green versus Stephanie Vacque, Nikki Bella, and maybe Brie Bella. But realistically, probably Cardi B. That's what I'm going to go ahead and throw out there. Please don't hate me. I'm just throwing something out there. Next, we would have Gunther coming out, and Gunther would cut a promo, and this is moving pretty fast, pretty quick, fast-paced Raw here. Gunther comes out and says, I am in a great mood today. Why am I in a great mood? I retired Bill Goldberg. I bullied him. I pushed him around. I choked him out. I ended the myth of Goldberg. So there's only one question to really ask now. When he looks around, he's got that Gunther smirk, that JBL Gunther smirk, basically, at this point. So who's next? And he hypes up the gauntlet match. At this point, Bron Breakker's siren goes off. Him and Paul Heyman walk to the ring. I think to myself, oh, it's go time. Here we go. Paul Heyman introduces himself. Gunther interrupts him. Gunther basically says, hey, Paul, I know who you are. I don't need this spiel. I'm going to go. Gunther goes to take a step to get out of the ring. Bron Breakker blocks him and says, nah, you're not going anywhere, Gunther. And at this point, he kind of sits there like, okay, I'm going to have to listen to Paul. Paul Heyman goes on to say, Bron Breakker is the, quote, next big thing, the big dog. This is his yard. You're not looking at a contender. You're looking at a Steiner. And at this point, I think to myself, oh boy, we're getting that. We're full on pushing it, and I couldn't be more excited. But right after this, we'd go into the gauntlet match. So if you weren't aware, 5-person gauntlet match, you had CM Punk, you had Jey Uso, you had Penta, you had LA Knight, and you had Bron Breakker. The winner of this gauntlet match goes on to face Gunther at SummerSlam for the title. Bron Breakker and Penta would start. We've seen these guys wrestle before, right? Bron Breakker is the powerhouse. He's running the ropes. He's doing all the things. Penta does the flip to the outside, taking Braun out. Bron Breakker drops Penta onto the steps at one point. And then you get the spot that we saw just a few weeks ago. Penta does a springboard. Bron Breakker, boom, spear. 1, 2, 3. He disposes of Penta pretty quick, pretty easily, to be honest with you. And at this point, LA Knight, would enter the gauntlet match. LA comes out hot. He hits a neck breaker. He does end up going up to kind of do maybe what I'm assuming is an LA elbow or maybe an axe handle. Bron Breakker pulls him off, and LA Knight hits his ribs on the top turnbuckle. Again, those ribs are injured. Braun smartly targets the ribs. So he goes in and targets those. He drives LA Knight rib first into the post at one point. They do a double clothesline. They're both down. Well, LA Knight starts to get the comeback back. He gets the LA DDT, the LA elbow, the LA powerbomb is what was coming next on a counter. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put LA in front of everything because it's LA Knight. Yeah. But you'd go ahead. You would get a gut buster from Bron Breakker, and we'd run this thing home. Bron Breakker would go boom, spear, and 1, 2, 3. Nah, LA Knight, not your turn. And at this point, Jey Uso's music hits. And I think to myself, okay, well, he's not coming from the crowd, so let's see kind of how they handle this, right? Jey Uso's thing has been, we're going to run my music back one more time. Well, Jey Uso comes in, knocks Bron Breakker out of the ring, hits a suicide dive, looks at the camera and goes, In the middle of the gauntlet match, they do a repeat. They say, hit my music one more time, an encore. I say, oh my God, they're doing this in the middle of the match. I laughed. I lost at this point. I thought it was great. We'd go to commercial break, and they would still go, 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 and they would still go. Yeeting all over the place. Got to give the people what they want when they're there, right? You got to yeet. So they wouldn't make their way back into the ring. And at this point, you would get a top rope crossbody by Jay. You would get a top rope Frankensteiner by Bron Breakker. He was handing those things out like they were candy tonight. You would get a spear by Jay. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, they might give Jey Uso the win over Bron Breakker. They did not, because Jey Uso would go to the top, and Bronson Reed comes out. Bronson Reed knocks Jey Uso off, and then Bron Breakker goes with the spear 1, 2, 3. They did mention earlier in the night in commentary, hey, it is no DQ. So Bronson Reed is now out there with Paul Heyman as Bron Breakker awaits CM Punk. At this point, Bron Breakker's been in the match for 35 minutes, they say. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if it is no DQ, Bronson, just get in there and beat the hell out of CM Punk. We'd get to that. Bron Breakker would just beat the hell out of CM Punk. I mean, he would show, hey, I'm a hell of a lot younger than you, CM Punk. CM Punk, you are 46 years old, I believe. I don't know how old Bron Breakker is, 28, I'll guess, 27, somewhere in there. And he looked every bit of it. He just destroyed him. You get another top rope Frankensteiner. That's where he's handing them out like candy. Punk would roll through, though, off of it. So he'd go up and he would land it, but then he would also turn it into a pin, into a roll up, 1, 2, kick out. You get a CM Punk comeback, and you're thinking to yourself, well, Brandon, how come you didn't go into detail? Well, Bron Breakker beat the hell out of CM Punk for the first part of this match part of it, right? And then CM Punk got the comeback. So you got all the nice classic CM Punk comeback moves. And this is where Bronson Reed would get involved when CM Punk is perched on the top rope and he kicks Bronson Reed off. Bron Breakker's down there. I'm thinking to myself, maybe Bron Breakker gets up. No. CM Punk stands there, hits the Macho Man elbow from the top rope. Then he goes into an Anaconda Vice, which was nice to see. Bronson Reed ends up breaking this up, though. And at this point, you're thinking, who's going to come out and save him? Because Bronson Reed's starting to beat the hell out of CM Punk. It's 2-on-1. We need somebody here. Uso. Well, Jey Uso comes out, and you're thinking to yourself, shucks, that's not the person I thought it was going to be. Well, maybe just wait till later. Jey Uso would come out. You end up getting a spear counter, and you get a GTS from CM Punk. 1, 2, 3. So CM Punk will be moving on to face Gunther at SummerSlam. And CM Punk facing Gunther at SummerSlam is honestly just something I want to see. I don't know how most people feel, but it's something I want to see. I know it's going to be a very methodical, slow match, right? You have CM Punk that really kind of feels like he needs that title. You have Gunther who feels like an unstoppable bully now. You can sign me up for that. They hinted at it just a little bit ago. I know some people are hinting at maybe a Seth Rollins cash in here. Now, I know Seth Rollins is hurt and the injury seems like it is legit. I know some people want to run wild with the conspiracies and the thoughts on it. I don't really know yet. I'm going to hold off thoughts. I'm going to say Seth Rollins is still injured, so we don't get that. I think they're going to hold off on that title, hold off on that cash in until Seth Rollins can be fully healthy, right? But CM Punk versus Gunther, sign me up. I don't think a lot of people are going to be excited for this. I don't think a lot of people are going to write home about this, but it's going to be my type of wrestling. I think it's going to be a little bit of stiff wrestling. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of hard-hitting stuff. CM Punk better take his aspirin, better take his Tylenol, whatever it is, because he's coming in the ring with Gunther, and Gunther looks impressive as hell. And at this point, Bron Breakker comes in and he spears Jey Uso. He spears CM Punk. Bronson Reed stacks them on top of each other to do a double tsunami. Bronson Reed goes to the outside. And let me tell you guys, this is where the fun stuff happens. You're like, well, that's it. Seth Rollins' impending doom is still here, even though there is no Seth Rollins. Not so fast. Roman Reigns returns. That's right. Roman Reigns is back. He comes out. The OTC1, as they're calling him now. And I mean, the pop is enormous. Everybody's throwing their ones up. Roman Reigns comes in. Superman punch. Spear. The pose. The ooh-ah. Everybody's cheering for Roman Reigns. This was awesome. This was great. CM Punk is looking at Roman Reigns like, man, what the hell? Why are you out here helping me? I can do this stuff by myself. Jey Uso's laying over on the side. Roman Reigns walks over, helps him up. You get a little bit of acknowledgement. And at this point, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso are all in the ring together looking at Braun, Bronson, and Paul. And Roman Reigns just has that aura feel about him. So at this point, it might be a pivot. But give me Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. I thought it was awesome tonight with Paul Heyman calling Bron Breakker the next big thing. The big dog, this is his yard. You have the OTC, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns returning. He didn't really say anything to Paul Heyman, no acknowledgement to Paul Heyman, but you know that's coming. What better way than to put a force up against Braun and Bronson, two pretty unstoppable heels, two monsters, right? Then Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, the ultimate baby faces versus impending doom. I know we've talked about this before. It's been awesome. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes teaming up together, right? Same thoughts here, same idea. It's going to be awesome to have Roman Reigns back. It's going to be awesome to have him with Jey Uso. We were wondering, how does Jey Uso fit into the Summerslam card? Well, slide Roman Reigns all right in there. There's obviously going to be the history, the elements of, hey, you were under me, we were equals. They didn't really touch on that at points. Maybe we end up getting a Roman Reigns apology. We know Roman won't be around for long as he is going off on the movies, but him and Jey Uso can get a pin on Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. Bronson Reed can take the pin. Sorry, Bronson Reed, I'm a big fan of you, but not today, not at SummerSlam in just a couple weeks. Roman Reigns returns. I couldn't be happier. Let me know what you guys think about Roman Reigns returning in the comments. And yeah, I kind of sped through some stuff here. Raw was okay tonight. I would say Raw was all right for the most part. Roman Reigns came back. Roman Reigns, I would say, saved Raw. You were waiting for Roman Reigns to come back at Saturday Night Main Event. It didn't happen, obviously. So what better place than Raw? We get to see Roman Reigns. And honestly, it was worth the wait. It was great. I know some people might be like, well, he keeps leaving. He keeps returning. Then the music hits and you're like, yeah, okay. That is Roman Reigns. There is that aura about Roman Reigns, right? Excited for CM Punk versus Gunther. Excited for Dom versus AJ Styles that we're hopefully going to get at SummerSlam. Obviously impending the physical, right? The women tonight showed out again. Pretty much followed up Evolution with a good night of wrestling. You had Finn Balor kind of playing both sides or trying to be the leader of Judgment Day. And you found out that the tag title contenders for Judgment Day's tag titles will be decided next week. Honestly, it was a good Raw. You got the women's triple threat already set for SummerSlam. I like that we're already laying out the SummerSlam feuds. And yeah, it is only a couple weeks to build, but you can still build off of those. So sign me up for that. It's much better than announcing it the week of, the Monday of, the Friday of a PLE. So sign me up for that. And as always, it was a great time watching Raw with you guys for the live stream. Make sure to stop on by for SmackDown and check out every other video we put out because honestly, this is fun stuff. It is a gas pedal to SummerSlam. We are hitting the road. And then obviously right after that, boom, it seems like a beeline towards the rest of the year. This is going to be great stuff. So go ahead and follow us on all socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. TikTok, Instagram, TikTok Reacts. We got a whole bunch of stuff out there. Go ahead and follow us, like I said, at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. I'm hoping this will be the last Raw until Will comes back. Will is supposed to come back, I believe, next Monday. So I don't know if he's going to be here for the live stream. I'm hoping so. Hopefully he can come back. I know he misses each and every one of you. But until then, until SmackDown, stop on by for the live stream. I am Brandon, one half of the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. I'll see you guys next time.